The ice storm on Varkos 9 did not fall gently. It screamed. Frozen wind cut across the landing field like knives, smashing into the hull of Captain Aaron Hale's transport ship. Snow slammed sideways, loud enough to sound like static tearing through the metal skin. Aaron sat alone in the pilot seat, hands wrapped around a cracked mug of reheated stim tea. The ship rattled. One warning light flickered. Another refused to turn off. He ignored them. Aaron Hale was very good at ignoring problems. That skill had kept him alive for 12 years on the fringe of human space. He stared at the navigation screen and sighed. Another frozen moon. Another low-pay delivery. Another reminder that humanity, for all its power, still sent its people to the cold edges of the galaxy to survive. Living the dream, he muttered. The scanners hummed quietly. Cargo stable. Fuel barely acceptable. Heat system struggling but alive. Then the proximity alarm chimed. Aaron frowned. No, he said softly. Absolutely not. Varkos 9 was officially uninhabited. No cities. No stations. No traffic. Unofficially, it was where ships crashed and people disappeared. He leaned forward and checked the sensor feed. A single life sign. Weak. Flickering. Almost buried in background radiation. Right beneath his landing struts. Aaron stared at the screen for several seconds, hoping the signal would vanish. It didn't. He groaned and stood up, pulling on his boots and grabbing a flashlight. I swear, he told the empty cockpit, if this is a frozen corpse, I'm billing the universe. The ramp lowered with a loud hydraulic hiss. Cold exploded inside the ship, sharp and brutal. Snow whipped around his legs as he stepped down onto the ice. Gravity was lighter than standard, making every step feel wrong. The storm howled. He almost missed her. She lay half buried in snow, curled inward like she was trying to disappear. Dark robes were stiff with ice and stained with deep blue blood. For a moment, Aaron thought she was human. Then the wind shifted. Long, elegant ears swept back from her head. Her skin was pale blue, almost glowing against the white snow. Silver-white hair spilled across the ice. Okay, Aaron whispered. That's new. She was alive. Barely. Her chest rose in shallow, uneven breaths. Her fingers were blue not by color, but by cold. Aaron didn't think. Thinking was how people convinced themselves to walk away. He shrugged off his thermal coat, the last good one he owned, and wrapped it around her small frame. She made a weak sound, half gasp, half protest, but didn't wake. He lifted her, surprised by how light she was, and staggered back toward the ship. You owe me, he muttered. Whoever you are. The ramp sealed shut behind them. Warm air rushed back like a held breath finally released. Inside the cargo bay, under flickering lights and between crates marked Do Not Inspect, Aaron laid her down and ran a quick medical scan. Blood loss. Exposure. Stress readings far above normal. Rough vacation spot, he said, activating the med applicator. As the gel sealed her wounds, her eyes fluttered open. They were dark and sharp. Too aware. She looked at him, then at the ship, confusion hardening into caution. Easy, Aaron said quickly. You're safe. Or at least, warmer. She swallowed. Where am I? My ship, he replied. Which sounds impressive until you see the engine. I'm called Lyris, she said after a moment. And you? Aaron. She tried to sit up and winced. No hero moves, Aaron said gently, guiding her back down. I don't have insurance for alien royalty. Her eyes flicked to the coat wrapped around her. Something unreadable passed across her face. Thank you, she said quietly. Aaron shrugged. Don't mention it. If you cry, I'll pretend I'm not here. She almost smiled before exhaustion pulled her under. Outside, the storm screamed. Inside, Aaron Hale's simple life quietly froze behind him. Lyris slept for 11 hours. Aaron spent that time pacing, checking systems, and loudly listing facts to no one. Life support stable. Engines angry but working. Cargo untouched. Everything was fine. When she finally woke, Aaron was sitting on a crate, chewing a protein bar like it had personally betrayed him. You're awake, he said. Good sign. She studied the cargo bay calmly. Too calmly. You could have left me, she said. Yeah, Aaron replied. I'm bad at that. She touched the coat. On my world, giving warmth without knowing who receives it is a binding act. Aaron blinked. Of course it is. It means responsibility. He laughed. Fantastic. I accidentally joined a religion. Before she could answer, the ship's sensors screamed. Aaron spun toward the console. Multiple warp signatures. Military grade. Tell me that's friendly traffic, he said. Lyris closed her eyes. They found me. Warships tore out of hyperspace, black and gold, weapons cold but ready. A voice filled the bridge. Unregistered vessel. Power down. Aaron leaned into the MAC. I'd love to, but I'm busy. Lyris stepped forward, posture changing instantly. Stronger. Heavier. This is High Speaker Lyris of the Aurelian Empire, she said. You will stand down. Silence. Then arguing voices flooded the channel. Legal terms. Ancient laws. Aaron stared as his console lit up with alerts. Wait, he said. Why am I important? You sheltered me, Lyris said. That makes you my protector. I gave you a coat. That is how it begins. The fleet shifted formation. Protector, the voice said tightly. You will accompany her. Aaron laughed. My mom is never going to believe this. The first thing Aaron Hale learned about imperial palaces was this. They were never quiet by accident. The silence inside the Aurelian capital was deliberate, shaped and controlled like everything else in the empire. The halls did not echo. They absorbed sound. Every footstep, every breath, felt measured. Aaron walked beside Lyris through corridors of pale stone and soft light, his worn boots squeaking just enough to remind everyone he did not belong. No one spoke to him. They stared. Not with anger. Not with fear. With calculation. Heavy crowd, Aaron muttered under his breath. They are deciding what you are, Lyris replied softly. Hopefully not disposable. That depends on you. That was not comforting. They reached a wide chamber lined with tall windows that looked out over the city. Floating platforms moved between towers like slow, silent rivers. The scale of it all made Aaron's chest tighten. This was not a place built for people like him. Guards stopped at the doorway. Lyris stepped inside alone. Aaron waited. Minutes passed. Then a voice spoke behind him. You chose poorly. Aaron turned. An imperial officer stood there, tall, sharp-eyed, uniform perfect. His ears bore thin gold markings that pulsed faintly. People tell me that a lot, Aaron replied. You are human, the officer said. Your species does not understand consequence. Aaron smiled thinly. We understand it very well. We just choose anyway. The officer studied him. You are now under observation. Story of my life. Inside the chamber, Lyris stood before a ring of advisors. Their expressions were calm, but their eyes were sharp. The protector remains, one said. That complicates matters. That was always the risk, Lyris replied. You endangered imperial stability. I endangered myself. Silence fell. The difference matters, another advisor said. Lyris folded her hands. So does the law. Ancient projections filled the air. Old words. Older rules. Sanctuary. Protection. Debt. No one liked it. They ended the meeting without resolution. That was worse than anger. Aaron was given quarters that night. They were large. Clean. Quiet. Too quiet. He sat on the edge of the bed and laughed once, softly. I miss my ship, he told the empty room. Hours later, Lyris arrived. She looked tired now. The strength she wore in public had cracks when no one watched. They offered you release, she said. Aaron raised an eyebrow. That was fast. They believe you are a weakness. Fair. She hesitated. You may still leave. Aaron leaned back, staring at the ceiling. If I go, what happens to you? They will protect me, she said. That pause told him everything. Right, he said. That kind of protection. She said nothing. I didn't stay because I'm brave, Aaron continued. I stayed because I was tired of being small. Her eyes softened. That night, alarms rang through the capital. The attack came without warning. Not warships. Not fleets. Assassins. Imperial security systems failed in perfect sequence. Too perfect. Aaron was jolted awake by a sharp knock. Move, a guard barked. The lights dimmed. Red warnings flared. Aaron grabbed the nearest object, a metal stool, and followed instinct instead of sense. Explosions echoed through the palace. Where's Lyris? He shouted. Targeted sector, the guard replied. That was all Aaron needed. He ran. No armor. No weapon. Just stubborn momentum. He reached the outer balcony just as figures dropped from stealth fields, moving fast, precise. Not Imperial. Mercenaries. One raised a weapon at Lyris. Aaron didn't think. He tackled the assassin off the platform. They crashed hard. Pain exploded through his shoulder. The assassin rolled. Faster, stronger. Aaron swung the stool. It connected. Hard. The mercenary went down. Others turned toward him. Bad move. Imperial guards arrived seconds later, weapons blazing. The fight ended quickly. Too quickly. Smoke drifted through the broken air. Lyris stood frozen, staring at Aaron. Blood ran down his arm. You're hurt, she said. Yeah, he replied, breathing hard. Still alive though. She grabbed his hand. For the first time, she did not let go. The court erupted the next morning. The attack could not be ignored. Evidence spread across the air in glowing fragments. Someone inside the Empire had hired the assassins. The room buzzed with controlled fury. The Emperor listened. Then he spoke. The sanctuary is no longer symbolic, he said. It is active. Eyes turned to Aaron. The human has acted as protector indeed, not just law. Whispers followed. He is untrained. He is human. He interfered. He saved her. That last one carried weight. The Emperor looked directly at Aaron. You have no obligation to continue. Aaron met his gaze. I know. Then why do you? Aaron thought of the storm. The cold. The coat. Because someone has to stand where it's uncomfortable. Silence followed. Then the Emperor nodded once. The Empire will adapt. That sentence shook the room. Weeks passed. Aaron learned the palace. He learned who watched him and who avoided him. He learned that humans unsettled the Empire not because they were weak, but because they were unpredictable. Lyris spent more time with him. Not as royalty. As herself. You scare them, she said once. Good. You don't play the game. I don't know the rules. That may be your advantage. Another attempt came. This time, not with weapons. With politics. They offered Aaron command authority. Rank. Status. A cage made of gold. He refused. They threatened exile. He shrugged. They threatened Lyris. That was the mistake. Aaron stood before the court again, voice steady. You don't own her, he said. And you don't own me. Murmurs exploded. The Emperor raised a hand. Enough. The ruler studied Aaron carefully. You would defy an empire. Aaron met his eyes. No. I'd remind it what it forgot. That night, the empire changed. Not loudly. Not cleanly. But permanently. The decision came quietly. Lyris would remain free of forced obligation. Aaron would remain by choice. The sanctuary debt was fulfilled, not by law, but by intent. The Empire recorded it as a precedent. A dangerous one. On the balcony where the city glowed endlessly below, Lyris joined Aaron again. You stayed, she said. Yeah, he replied. Guess I like trouble. She smiled. Real this time. You gave warmth without knowing who I was. Aaron shrugged. Still would. She placed the coat over his shoulders. You are cold less often now, she said. Don't ruin my reputation. They stood together, watching the lights. Somewhere beyond the capital, his ship waited. Repaired. Ready. So, Aaron said. What happens next? Lyris looked out at the stars. We build something new, she said. For humans and aliens. For people. Aaron nodded. Sounds messy. Yes, she agreed softly. But worth it. The galaxy moved on. Empires shifted. And one human, armed with nothing but stubborn kindness, had carved a place where none were supposed to exist. The capital world burned like a jewel in space. Aaron had never seen anything so powerful, or so controlled. Inside the imperial halls, eyes followed him everywhere. He doesn't belong, they whispered. He stood before the Emperor himself, a calm figure wrapped in light. You may leave, the Emperor said. Compensation will be provided. Aaron looked at Lyris. She did not meet his eyes. Freedom sat right there. He thought of the ice. The storm. A stranger dying alone. No, Aaron said. The room froze. I choose to stay, he continued. Because someone should. Silence. Then the Emperor nodded slowly. So be it. Later, on a balcony overlooking the endless city, Lyris joined him. You could have gone, she said. Yeah, Aaron replied. But then I'd still be running. She smiled. The galaxy moved on. And one small human choice had changed an empire forever.